afternoon everybody. I'm back in my summer house. It's pretty miserable today. It's Thursday afternoon, it's the 11th of June, and when I was a child we used to always talk about June as being flaming June. Well, it's just flaming awful at the moment. It is really overcast. It's quite chilly, and I have to confess I've had my heating on the last few evenings because once the sun sets, it's been really cold. So it's very different from just a couple of months ago. I mean, even April, which was the earliest part of spring, was much warmer than it is now. So when I was preparing my last video, I realised that it's getting pretty close to my first anniversary on YouTube. So looking back, my first video was uploaded on the 14th of July last year. I kind of got on here by, I don't know if we'd say by mistake, but I hadn't really planned it very much. I think sometime in May I'd had somebody commented on my gardening Facebook page, why didn't I have my own YouTube channel. I had a blog, and at that time I seemed to be able to find the time to write my blog. That was fairly popular, although it was very new again. But it planted a seed, and I thought, okay, I'll have a go. It seemed a bit presumptuous of me, or facetious, I don't know which word you want to use, but I felt a bit of a fraud, to be honest. But I thought I'd have a go. So I had a tablet and an old phone, and I did some recording, and I put these little test videos up on my on my Facebook page, and got some favourable responses. So that was kind of the start of it. But then I hadn't got a clue. I'm a bit of a technophobe, so I hadn't got a clue how to go about editing, putting film together, anything like that. So I found there was an app you can add to your phone which helped with the editing, so that was my starting point, and I did a few videos that way, and they were quite successful. Managed to follow all the instructions and get that sorted, but the problem with that is that the phone just didn't have enough storage on it, and in the end it wouldn't upload anything, or it wouldn't export anything. So my next decision was, okay, I'll transfer everything onto my laptop. But then I couldn't transfer the same editing package onto my laptop because it was only made for mobile phones. So then I had to find a completely different editing program or package, and have to start from scratch again. So, and it was quite a bit more complicated than the one that was on the mobile phone, but I started off on it okay, and then I hit the same problem again with storage. And at the same time I changed my phone, and then the phone that I got, I was really pleased with that because that had a really good camera on it, and that actually did help a great deal. But again, the storage is still a problem. So quite recently I bought myself an external hard drive, and that has kind of revolutionised everything for me, because the hard drive that I've got is now, see, I'm going to sound like I know what I'm talking about, but I haven't got a clue. It's 2 terabytes, I think that's what it is, and that's equivalent to something like 128 gig SD cards. So it's a lot of storage. So I've managed to get everything off my laptop, everything off my phones, that's all on the external hard drive. And then the other thing I've done is I've bought this camera that I'm now using. It is a Canon M50, it was my son's. I think he bought it a couple of years ago but hasn't really used it much, and he said to me, oh, do you want it? So I thought, yeah, why not? So really today's recording is almost an experiment. So I'm upgrading each time. So this is where I am at the moment. So like I said, I'm a bit of a technophobe. I sound like I know what I'm talking about. I really don't. I just fudge my way through everything. The enemy has arrived. What are you doing, Mr. Paddy? Morning everybody. Just come back from a nice long walk with the doggy. It's quite humid today, so a bit hot and bothered at the moment, so just sitting having a break and having a coffee. But I've got a few plans for today. Before it rains, I'm going to lift all the garlic and onions. I'm not really sure how the garlic's done this year. It looks healthy enough, but I don't know if we've got many cloves because it's been so mild. Onions, quite poor this year. Unfortunately, Mr. Paddy sat on a patch of them when I first sowed them. I thought they'd recovered, but they really haven't done an awful lot. So I've got a few, not many, but I'm going to do that today. I'm also going to tidy up the greenhouse because that's got a little bit messy of late. I've got a few more things to plant out, got my leeks to plant out, and then once I've sorted that, I'm going to start thinking about what I'm sowing next. So I'll catch up with you in a bit. Cheers. Right, I'm going to leave them there for a couple of weeks to cure, and then they'll develop their sort of papery skin. When they've dried out, remove the roots, and I'll be able to hang them. There's not a huge amount, so they're not going to last through the winter, but it's better than nothing. I'm going to do the garlic now. So that's the garlic lifted. So I'm going to go and hang that up in the greenhouse now. I've got 17 garlic and 29 onions. It's actually 31 onions. I've got 2 little ones in the kitchen sink, which they're quite small, but I can still use them. So that's not bad. I'm just going to let them dry out now for a few weeks. Then I'll be able to brush off all that mud, cut off all the roots and string them up. Right, I've cleared up the greenhouse. I don't know if you can hear, but we're in the middle of yet another thunderstorm, so I'm just packing up. Paddy doesn't normally get frightened, but we've had a couple of really massive bangs that have unsettled him a little bit, so he's clinging to me. So there's not much left in here. I've got 3 chilli plants, which I need to pot on. I've got the Cheyenne, which is at the back, and then this one is, I think it's jalapeno. Yeah, it's my jalapeno, and then Scotch bonnet. They need to be put in bigger pots, so that's something I need to do. Some hollyhocks, I still haven't potted them up. They need to go out. I've got a few more French beans and borlotti that I'm trying to get to germinate, but still nothing. Some basil that desperately needs potting on because that's going a bit yellow in places. It's so hot and I've had to go to work, so I've not been on top of it. Leeks need to go out. These peppers again desperately need to go in much bigger pots. And then, as you saw earlier, is my onions and garlic. One nervous Paddy. And these are some of my tomatoes. They're looking good. Some down here. Some more basil. One of my lemons again, they're a bit yellow. I need to get some proper citrus feed for them, I think. And I'll do a quick tidy up underneath as well. This is all my hand tools, my sprayer. I'm organic, so that is just for spraying like a soap solution to stop the powdery mildew. All my bird food. Now under here I've got more compost, more pots, and the bubble wrap which I use when we have frost, just to give extra warmth to plants in spring and autumn. That's it. I'm going in to have my tea now and then back to work tomorrow. So I'll see you all soon. But I forgot what I was going to say.